So you're thinking about starting an online business in 2019. You've seen the 1001 different options that there are out there. You've seen Amazon FBA, you've seen e-com and drop shipping, you've seen affiliate marketing, and you've seen SMMA. But the question is starting a social media marketing agency in 2019 dead? Is the business model dead? Is there any longevity in it? And is it oversaturated? So that's what I'm going to be breaking down in today's video. Stay tuned. So before we can even get into is SMMA dead, we kind of have to understand what SMMA actually is. Now, just a quick overview and brief, like 1,000-foot view of what the actual business model is and what it contains and stuff like that. Basically, a social media marketing agency is an agency that runs social media marketing for another business. So it's a B2B business model. So basically you run Facebook ads, or you post and manage people's social media accounts such as their Instagram, Facebook for them, in order to bring them some sort of return on investment, whether that be a social return on investment or a monetary return on investment. A social return on investment is basically getting them likes, followers, and fans on their fan page, whereas a monetary return on investment is, generating leads for them, bringing them in new business, bringing them in revenue. So how the business model actually works is you find small to medium sized businesses around the internet or around your local area, and you basically hit them up if you think you can benefit them with your services. So breaking this business model down even further, you get paid on a monthly basis to manage somebody's social media account or manage their paid traffic advertising for them and bringing in leads for them. Now, traditionally, I don't recommend anybody go below a £1,000 retainer fee if you're doing Facebook advertising for a business. Secondly, I just want to break down why this business model actually works. It works because if you take a look at the average business owner, they're around 30 to 40 plus years old, normally around that 40 years old range. Now, I'm not too sure about you, but if you ask a 40-year-old, the traditional 40-year-old business owner to, use social media, they wouldn't have a clue what you're talking about. So if you know a little something about Facebook ads, you are probably 90% better off than the average business owner is when it comes to paid advertising and social media marketing. Not to mention that us, the younger demographic, we actually know how to use social media because we actually grew up on it. So what we can actually do is offer a service to help fix their problems in return for a cash reward. The cash reward being your retainer fee, so how much you charge them per month to actually help their business grow with social media. So that's why it works and how it works. So now that you kind of know how it works and why it works from a brief overview, that's like a 10,000-foot overview. Obviously there's more intricacies here and there, but we'll get into that sort of shit in another video. So according to my notes, I've just been on the computer, Google searched all this shit. You can fact check me if you want. Looking at my notes, I'm going to break down some of the numbers here just to show you how sustainable this business model actually is and how much longevity this business model actually has. Just in the US alone, there are 27 million SMEs, which stands for small and medium-sized enterprises, basically meaning small to medium-sized businesses. In the UK, there's actually 5.7 million of these. In Canada, there's 1.1. In Australia, there's 2.4, and in New Zealand there's 2.1, although I'm not too sure if that one's actually that accurate. So from just these five countries alone, five countries alone, there are 38.3 million small to medium sized businesses for you to reach out to. Now, obviously, when you're starting a social media marketing agency, you kind of want to niche down and not be a generalist. You want to be a expert in one area, so you can be seen as an authority figure, and you know, have much better and higher retainer prices because you are seen as the expert in that field. So let's just say that out of that 38.3 million, yes, I'm looking now to see my notes, I don't fuck up. So let's just say out of those 38.3 million businesses in just these 5 countries alone, that only 1% of those businesses are in your niche. Now I'm gonna throw these numbers out as if I'm just gonna give you some really shit numbers, just so you can see, even with the shit numbers, it still makes sense to start a social media marketing agency. So 1% of 38.3 million is actually 383,000 businesses in just these 5 countries alone. So let's just say that there's 383,000 businesses in your niche alone. There's probably way more than that, but again, I'm just giving you some really shit numbers. So let's say that out of those 383,000 businesses, only 10% of them are actually qualified and can actually afford your services and are actually interested in your services. So that again is 38,300 businesses you can reach out to. Now, let's say you want to get to the 6-figure a year mark. That means you only need to close 9 businesses. Let's just round it up to 9. So you actually only need 9 of these businesses out of the 38,300 to say yes to a 1K per month retainer fee. Damn. So as you can see, with this being an online business, 38,300 businesses, I mean, the world is your oyster. It's there for the taking. There would have to be so many marketing agencies, each with multiple clients, for there to be even the slightest bit of saturation. So let's continue and dig a little bit deeper into these 38,300 businesses. So let's say you reach out to 38,300 businesses. That is probably a lot of work, but let's just keep it all hypothetical. Let's just say that out of those 38,300 businesses, only 1 in 100 messages that you send actually ends up landing you a sales call, aka a discovery call, with one of these potential leads. So that means on average you would end up with around 380 discovery calls, or sales calls if you want to call them. Now let's say that you only have a 10% close rate. That means you would end up with 38 new clients for your social media marketing agency a year if you put in that sort of work, which is a crazy amount of work, by the way. Of course, we're just keeping this hypothetical. And remember that these are the shittiest of the shittiest numbers that I could possibly even think of. I mean, 1% of the 38 million in your niche. I'm pretty sure if you're going after like the real estate niche, that there's more than 383,000 real estate agencies or realtors around the world. I'm pretty sure there are. I mean, there are 7 billion people. Let's say half of those need are thinking about moving house or need houses. I'm pretty sure there's more than 383,000 people in that niche alone. Bearing in mind, I've not even taken into consideration other countries such as India, China, Japan. Some of these are really huge economies that have, you know, online businesses, local businesses, but of course the majority of them don't speak English, so I kind of just stuck to the English speaking countries. But think about countries like France, Spain, Italy, all those sorts of places I didn't even take into consideration. In fact, I believe there's an estimated number. There's actually not a clear number on this, it's quite vague, but there's an estimated of around 200 to 290 million businesses worldwide, and all you need for a 6-figure income is 9 people to say yes to a 1K retainer fee. So I don't think social media marketing agencies are going anywhere anytime soon. Oh, and I've not even mentioned it, in every single 60 seconds that goes by, 400 new Facebook accounts are created, which is a mind-boggling number. And I've also just looked, there's apparently 80 million small businesses on Facebook alone. Now I can imagine out of those 80 million, 90 to 95%, in fact I can almost guarantee it, that 90 to 95% of those businesses are not running any type of paid advertising or Facebook ads or anything like that. So the world really is your oyster. I mean, even if Facebook dies out, YouTube dies out, Instagram dies out, there's always going to be a next thing. I mean, look at it. Just look back to like 2001, 2005 times. I believe it was around 2005. I'm not too sure actually. You might have to fact check me on that one. But Google AdWords was the shit back in the day. Now Facebook ads is taking over. So if you have this skill of marketing, you know how to market a business on the internet using social media, that skill will be around forever. That marketing skill, that skill set, keep that skill set, because that is a 6 and 7, maybe even 8-figure skill set to have. I mean, think about it. Advertising agencies have been around from the dawn of time. Businesses have a universal problem of gaining customers. It's one of the hardest things to do when you're a business. I mean, think about it. When have you ever heard of a business go out of business because it has too much business? It just doesn't happen. So the number one universal problem all businesses can actually face is a lack of customers. And if you can bring a business a lack of customer, you've solved a really valuable problem to them, a really deep problem to them. And the more valuable you become and the bigger the problem you can actually solve for that actual business, there's no limit to how much you actually make in terms of your actual profit. So that's one of the things I actually love about business. Business, in just its bare bones, is basically solving a problem for another person in exchange for something else, normally money. And because it's based on value, and because you are basically providing a service, it means you're basically giving them your skill in exchange for money. And now there's no limit to how skillful you can actually get. You can become an absolute god at Facebook ads, bring somebody in 10 million in a year and get paid 1 million for that just from one client. And it wouldn't even be a problem because you just made them a 10x return on their investment with you. So that's why I kind of like business compared to a job. Jobs is where you kind of trade your time for money. And a business model such as a social media marketing agency actually trades value for money, and value has no limit, therefore your pay will have no limit. And that's kind of why, one of the reasons why I love it. So kind of going off on a tangent there. So that's all for today's video. As you can see, this business model is probably going to be around forever. If it's not social media, then it's the next thing. It's just marketing. Marketing will always be needed. Marketing will always be around. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if any of you guys actually need help starting your social media marketing agency or automating your social media marketing agency so you don't have to manually find leads, manually email them, manually LinkedIn message them, stuff like that, basically to put systems in place to get clients and discovery calls on autopilot, just click the link in the description, because there is a one-on-one coaching call opportunity for you ready and waiting, because I've actually figured out how to do this. Anyway, that's all for today's video. Please drop me a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.